We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president will debate the former U.S. president as their party's presumptive nominees, a first in American history. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to our studios in Atlanta. This is the CNN presidential debate.
This debate is being produced by CNN and is coming to you live on CNN, CNN International, CNN.com, CNN Max, and CNN Espanol. This is a pivotal moment between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in their rematch for the nation's highest office. Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day. Good evening, I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union.
I'm Jake Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules of the debate with the audience at home. Former President Trump will be on the left side of the screen. President Biden will be appearing on the right. A coin toss determined their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak, his microphone will be turned on and his opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate interrupt when his microphone is muted, he will be difficult to understand for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements.
Of this broadcast. Final thoughts before we go into this historic debate.
Look, I know a lot of people are looking for.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump? Jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems, that we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for an insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world, he's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still found ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for that.
We should tell Biden that he shouldn't look down because he looks like he's sleeping.
9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. And they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years...
That's got to be the craziest thing to bring up is Afghanistan.
And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with.
I gave
We
him
gave
an
him something great.
unbelievable
Remember,
situation.
more
Hello,
people
Blake.
died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More
Why does
people
Biden's
died
hair
under
look
his administration than our
bad?
administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine.
Trump was the one that made the vaccine.
And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent. All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed
shithole country
people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national
Biden always
debt.
looks so scared.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two,
whatever methamphetamines do, the smelling salts that must be inside of Biden's nose right now is amazing.
For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%,
Whoa.
either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the...
Is Biden even there?
Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Are you kidding me? You saved him?
Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare.
I like this more than the Stanley Cup final. This is the best thing ever.
Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Oh, God damn
this
it.
morning, the court
gayest
ruled
fucking
on
questions
yet another
ever.
Abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban.
Nobody wants a
Former
debate
President
like this.
Trump
Just let them go at each
will
other.
take credit for the decision
Make
to
Trump
overturn Roe v.
call
Wade,
Biden
which
a dog
returned
face or
the
something.
issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
Yeah, that's such a
First
dumb
of all,
question.
The Supreme Court just
Can I pause this? I can't. Okay. The abortion pill and Plan B are two separate things, and people pretend like they conflate them, so they don't actually differentiate between them. An abortion pill is just an abortion that you can get later. That's just chemically done. Plan B is completely different. But people hear this and they think it's Plan B, and they go, "Oh, well, now they've done Roe v. Wade, they're going to get rid of Plan B," and that's basically just condoms for me because I'm a whore.
approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders.
Who is
And
Biden
what
looking
I did
at?
is I put 3 great Supreme
Somebody
Court
giving him hand
justices
signals?
on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at
How come
Ohio,
Biden
it was a
always looks like
decision that
he's
ended
smelling what
result
the
that was a
rock is
little bit more
cooking? You
liberal
know what I
than
mean?
you
Like
would
he's
have
giving
thought.
that.
Kansas, I
okay,
would say the
that's
same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And
Hola.
right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in
Dude,
that.
the entertainment
But
is
I believe in
back.
the
Dude,
exceptions.
I am so
Great
pumped for
princess
this.
would be life
This
It's
is
like the WWE, the way they hype this shit up, man.
This is so unbelievably fun, and Biden looks stunned. Trump, I think Trump's slipping too. So like, this is gonna be a mess. And I don't know if you saw it
They're
before.
both like 400 years old.
Dude, they have a system of muting. They were talking about it before it went like live. They have a system of muting. The second Trump is done talking, they mute him and they turn on Biden's mic and vice versa. So like you'll never be allowed to, you're not allowed to like discuss with each other. You're just talking at the person who's running the debate. It's dumb.
It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that
It's been a
the vast
terrible
majority of
thing.
constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women,
No,
who've been, including
a little
a young
far.
woman who just was murdered.
Okay.
And he went to the funeral.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, go ahead. Go ahead. If Alabama wants to make racist laws, go ahead. And no one can live in Alabama, and only the racist people will live there. It's like the free market. Literally, if Alabama was just like, yeah, Jim Crow's back, we get lynching's legal. Like, guess what? 0 black people would live there, and most of the sane people would move. Like,
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, literally.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. Consider the most dangerous
Biden
place
looks so
anywhere in the world.
scared.
And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country.
He's like, they are? He's like, wait, are you serious, Trump? They're coming to get me?
They're getting in our country, but I'm the president.
But no, I said no.
In many cases,
I told them they can't do that.
Yeah, Kamala said not to come.
In many cases, it's the opposite.
Do
But
not
they're
come.
voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back.
Yeah, watch,
I was the one to do
notice
it.
this too. When Biden gets all like dazed and confused, they stop the split screen.
Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
When Biden starts looking
Thank you
real
for the topic
wonky
of
and shit,
abortion, President
they
Biden.
always cut
7
directly to
states.
Trump.
I'll let you do that.
He
if
looks
this is the same
wonky all the
program.
time.
Yeah, but like
States
extra
What do you
wonky.
mean?
Yeah, like I mean like extra
on how
wonky.
far into a pregnancy
Like when the
it
smelling
will
salts
take
wear
an
off.
abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that
What?
the politicians...
What?
the
Look at
focus on
Trump,
the
he's like-
politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's
How does he
health.
upside down smile just by sitting there?
No
I want to
politician
know.
should be making that decision. A doctor should be making that
I
decision.
gotta say, Trump
That's
has
how
so
it
much
should be
money. I
done.
don't know how he doesn't
That's
fix
what
that
you're gonna do.
gobbledygook
And if
thing.
I'm elected, I'm
It's
gonna
crazy
restore
that
Roe v.
they don't
Wade.
have that.
Fucking turkey.
Yeah, this little
He
turkey
can
gobbler
take
is
the life
insane.
of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing
There was that
to, as
one.
we say,
I'm
rip the
like
baby
Trump's
out of
kind
the
of
woman
retarded
and
for saying that because there was just
kill the
one
baby.
fucking guy who said
Nobody
that.
wants that
He
to
said it in an interview
Yeah.
and he was just like, well, if the baby comes out, we'll put him to the side and we'll discuss with the mother if we're going to smother this bitch.
Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
Wait.
The Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We
He's
think
right.
it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way
Okay,
to
then
go.
for 150
51 years,
before it
and
wasn't. Who do you?
taken away
What?
because
That's
this
not
guy
precedent.
Put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it.
Yeah, and
away.
for a bunch of
What's he
years,
gonna
slavery
do?
was legal.
What's he
Like,
gonna
I
do
don't know.
if-
I'm gonna
What
say
is his
slavery
point?
might be more. It might have had more time being legal than not legal. Should we go back because because it was longer?
And I fucking love watching this shit, man.
Dude, I'm glad you do too because I fucking love it. This is better than the Stanley Cup Final. This is the
It's just
greatest.
entertainment.
It's literally WWE. It's exactly. I try to explain it to other people. I'm like, it's like you just pick a team and go for it. And even if you don't pick a team, you
is.
just get to hate both of them. It's great.
It's fucking awesome.
It's
The way they hype it up, like I can see like the WWE intros and the way like imagine like the way they fucking hype up a UFC is like they've got like Trump defending
Yeah.
or no Biden reigning defending and they got Trump the challenger. Like this is how they fucking
I love it.
promote this shit.
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed me.
Don't make that face.
My position.
Stop making that face.
In addition to that, we find ourselves
Okay.
in a
He's
situation
confused.
when he
Oh, I don't
was
like that.
president, it was
Those
taking
eyebrows need to stay
separating
down.
babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were
Dude,
separated.
Stop doing the
That's
cage thing. Obama's the one that made the cages, dude. Obama was the OG cage guy. And not just because of the racist reasons you're thinking, Blake. Stop. I know what you're thinking. Monkey
I don't know what the fuck you're
cages. I
talking
get it. I see where your head's at. Stop. Get your head out of the gutter. This is respectful.
Relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
He sounds like he's the fucking crypt keeper.
I
Like his
know.
last every breath may be his last.
Look at him.
Every breath you take may be your last, Biden.
Dude, I love when they cut away. Hold on, let me look. Watch it. Look at how crazy he looks. Get off that screen.
Yeah, stop showing that.
That needs
That's
to be
not
gone.
okay.
Open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest.
He has no idea where he is right now, does he?
Oh no, he's starting to drool.
All over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere.
He's just gonna walk off at one point. He's gonna revert
This
back
guy
to
just left it open, and he
just.
didn't need
This is my mark now. I walk here.
I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol.
Oh, remember the wall?
Great. And by the
That
way,
was
who
cool.
endorsed
I
me
do
for
remember the
president?
wall.
I won't say that.
And they were gonna pay
Endorsed
for
me
it.
Yeah,
president.
let's bring back the wall. Can we get wall chants again?
But we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything
Wow.
like it.
I don't know if you've
people
seen
are
like
dying all
Venezuela's
over the place,
border.
including
Like
the people that
they're pretty bad.
Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration,
What?
kill three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that.
Why does Trump's hair look like
The
that?
idea-
Why does it? Wait. Did you see it? What's this? Why does he look like Leave It to Beaver hair right now? Like, why does his hair? Like, it's not normal. Something's up. Like, he's got like an emo swoop a little bit. Like, he looks like a young boy. He's got boyish hair, right? Oh, hello, Dave. Dave loves the wall. Of course he does. You're in California, dude. There's too many Mexicans there. Gotta get
Just
already
a
out.
few.
and soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, it's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
Isn't there like specific data saying that there's like a ridiculous amount of border interactions?
You've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Whoa.
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge
no, Biden looks terrified by these terrorists.
On everything.
He's like, holy fuck, right, terrorists. I forgot about that.
Hundreds of thousands of
Holy shit, we killed people.
And also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people.
It's just crazy that, like,
California and every.
Do they have earpieces? No, right? Like,
No.
his goblin ears look blank.
No, I've been trying to look for anything. Biden's got nothing going on. It's just
Because, like,
it's just
the
mess.
way he's on a rehearsed speech is, guys, mind-blowing. So the way he's going to speak through this is what I've been waiting for.
Dude, the best skill that Trump has is that he can just riff. He can just fucking go. Hey, don't you? I get it. You're a Biden supporter, Taco, but shut the fuck up. I'm saying Trump can riff. Like he can. So like pretty much anything that happens, he can kind of just roll with it, and he can talk for like 15 minutes. Biden needs a specific talking point to get through the next sentence. Otherwise, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Not borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Who?
Migrant crime. They're
My kid,
killing
not
our
Hunter.
citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This
Holy
is
shit, a
horrible
funeral?
What's taking place in
I'm
our
gonna
country.
go to one of those soon. It's gonna be mine.
Uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because
Someone bring him ice cream. Boot him back
Just
up.
Take a look at where they're living.
Well,
They're
they'll get a
living in
break, I think, for
luxury
ice cream.
hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying.
So
because
weird
he
that they were
doesn't care about
fucking.
our veterans.
They were. Oh, why did they cut away? You like, I'm like, they were on a split screen for fucking 3.5 minutes, and Biden starts staring up at the sun for a second, and then they cut away because they don't want to see that, and then they cut right back to him because he stopped drooling or whatever the fuck happened there.
He's falling asleep.
And he doesn't care about our veterans.
He's got to stop
Nobody
looking
can
down.
worse.
You can't
They
look
have the
down.
highest
The
approval
note should be
rating for
on the
veterans
ceiling.
Taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people
Whoa.
to come in.
President
and it's
Biden?
a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said.
They didn't cut him off.
Every single
thing he says is a lie.
Veterans are a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I would. That's how you should start everything. Like they should all just completely vehemently disagree with everything that they say. Whatever it
It's
is.
like-
I like chocolate chip ice cream. Everything he said is a lie. I see him eating mint chocolate all the time. It's actually all he
eating
has.
fucking no chocolate ice cream. He actually hates chocolate ice cream, but loves chocolate milkshakes.
Last time we got Neapolitan, the only thing left was chocolate.
That's the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it.
Just blow him a
Their
kiss.
families have it because what happened?
I don't know what that was. He puckered his fucking lips together like my asshole after Taco Bell.
And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living one next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery.
I was there during the original D-Day. I fought.
I was 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers.
Corn Pop was down on the mountain. I was like, you come here, I'll cut you with a rusty razor.
Sucker, you're the loser.
They didn't even have sliced bread.
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of us.
Oh no!
Dude,
What did I do?
Dude, this is the look you get before a fatality happens in Mortal Kombat. You're like, what? Like he's standing there like swaying and he has no HP left. And Trump is
and Buddy in front of him just teabagging over and over because he can't get the combo off.
Dude, it's so he's just like, I'm so glad you brought this up. That's so crazy. You think I just stared at the grave of our veterans and like, look at these suckers and losers. They're all gay. Losers, gay, homosexual, military. That's what I always say. Everyone in the military is a trans.
That I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation.
Oh, shit.
It wasn't.
Where am I?
It came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
A 4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
To the topic of foreign policy, I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now
That's still
in its
going
third
on?
year. Former President Trump, Russia's
There's no way that's
President
still going
Vladimir
on.
Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO.
Yo, that's the fairest
that was
agreement.
their whole,
that was the whole
agreement the whole time. That's what they broke, and that's why the war happened, right?
Yes.
They were like, "Yo, don't join NATO, so our enemies can't be right on our borders." And they're like, "Yeah, got it."
It's like
Hold on.
we like the
We're actually
Soviet
gonna
Union
do that.
idea. They were like the Soviet Union idea where they had satellite states all around them protecting them from the West. Now they don't have that because the Soviet Union fell apart. Only thing they can do is go, hey, our few people that are right next door, you're not allowed to join the Western fucking monopoly over the entire world, and then we would just be destroyed. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Because then
Or
NATO
we're gonna steamroll you.
NATO can't set up a base in fucking Kyiv, and then now fucking St. Petersburg is gonna be under attack because they're just gonna if you have American missiles in the middle of the former Soviet Union, it's a problem for Russia. So they're like, hey, okay, the agreement is we get this area that is locally known as almost exclusively Russian speaking people. That's what they're like. Everybody here is Russian. They're like, yeah, actually, we kind of just like identify as Russian. It's like the people on the outsides of a big city. It's like people from Mississauga saying they're from Toronto. That's basically what they're doing. They're like fucking. They're like,
it's the GTA.
Yes, exactly. The former Soviet Union is just basically like, yeah, we're Russian. We speak Russian. I don't know. Some people speak Bulgarian, but that's bullshit. Like it's that's exactly what happened. And they're like, okay, we're gonna take this just like they did in 2014. They're annexing some space because they probably wanted to do some sketchy shit. And let's let countries do sketchy shit because it's not our problem.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking let them do it over there.
Yeah, dude, it's so far east. Do you think did we really think there was nothing sketchy going on in Eastern Europe? Look at it. It looks like a project. It's crazy.
It's the projects.
It is. It's the world's projects.
And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information.
Well, what was that sideways, that smile?
Ah!
What? No. Play it. Roll it back like 2 seconds. Wait. Okay.
Hold on.
Wait till you see. There's a halfway point. We're on like the right side of his or the left side of his teeth aren't even showing, but the right side's fully out.
I'm having such a blast going back and forth. It's like he's like He's like, oh, no, I don't think there's any terrorists coming in. No, actually, there's so many terrorists going in. What? Are you kidding me? There's terrorists? No, my people tell me there's no terrorists. Yeah, no, there ain't no terrorists.
No, we told them not to come. We said do not come.
No, they're all suckers and losers. I never said suckers and losers. What? Okay, let's see it smile. Let's see it creep in.
Just about any of them.
Right here.
Whoa! Information. He has like, dude, this side of the face isn't working. Probably, I think he had a stroke. I'm fairly sure he actually did have a stroke. Like, there's
okay.
Like, I think he definitely did have brain surgery. I know that.
Yeah, they kind of trimmed that hair coming off the bottom of his ear, or is that coming off the bottom of his head? Because it's bugging me.
This part right here, that might be.
I hope that's off his head.
Is it, or is it like the CNN logo in the background? Maybe no. I think
maybe.
I think
it's got to be his hair.
Got
to be his hair.
Neither. Let's go. Neither of their hairs on point. Trump's is wonky.
No.
Biden's is wonky. Everything's all
Trump's
wonky.
hair ever really on point?
Yeah, but like he had an opportunity. He caught Biden on a night he was slipping. He could have won the hair category in the debate.
If we had a real president, the president that was respected by
Holy shit, this face is okay. They are immediately like, I'm going out on a limb. They are going to cut away from this as soon as possible. There's going to be
Green Goblin.
When I click, when I click play, they're going to immediately cut to Trump.
Get Norman Osborn off the
screen. Would have never invaded Ukraine.
How are they letting this go for so long?
Now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad.
Smile again.
It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence that he should.
Wow, he looked so mad.
Generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing.
Dude, Biden was the first one to slip up on the mic thing.
Where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers and 38 soldiers.
Why do we never get Trump off the screen?
Yeah, Trump's always on the screen because we want to catch a slip up.
When Putin saw that, he said, you know what?
Oh, he's sleeping.
Go in and maybe take my. This was his dream.
Someone give him a nudge.
His dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
There was no terror.
President Biden.
I do like that.
Never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is,
oh my God.
Love malarkey. I'm going to start using malarkey in my regular life.
When he fucking looks down, he downgrades the windows every time.
Yeah, I know. It literally looks
His
like he's
operating
shutting
system
up.
goes back.
Trump just, I don't know how he does it. He looks retarded. Like, a lot of the time, he's just like, his whole style is retarded. But the way that he holds himself always just looks so much more distinguished than Biden.
He looks like he has a point to prove, and that point is I kind of got a shit.
He does look like he does look like a French king a little bit or something. Like if you saw this like as a picture back in time, you'd go like, oh yeah, he definitely like beheaded a couple of wives or something like that back in the day.
Yeah, that dude ran in Quebec.
Yeah. He just like rewrote the Bible to put himself in it or something like that. That's how he holds himself though. But that's so much better than just like being asleep and having these crazy methed out eyes that I'm not sure you have pupils. It's all just, or you don't even have the iris. It's all pupil. It's just one big black snake eye. It's crazy.
For a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did. to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands.
I have
of
a
troops.
feeling there was like an assist in that.
Troops.
President Trump.
I don't know, because he said Trump like 4 times when he meant to say Putin.
Oh, did he? I didn't even
He
catch
was like,
that.
he goes, Trump was really encouraging Trump.
At all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost.
Go back. You want to hear it?
That's what he wanted to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union.
Go back.
To Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did. To Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want.
No, that's where he corrected himself.
To Putin, encourage whatever you want.
That's where he corrects himself. But beforehand, he goes.
To Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And he went in. And listen to what he said.
Anyway,
he's all over the place.
500,000 troops.
Yeah, we're going to cut you off, Mr. President.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that
I thought they were downright reasonable.
If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more.
If Ukraine just says, nah, no more NATO, give him the land back.
I don't think there's ever been anything like it.
That might be the bottom line, you know?
To this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him.
But see, this is what I'm imagining he wants out of that land, or like what Russia wants out of that land, is that's their safety net. So instead of using Ukraine as the safety net buffer, they want this territory that's a wall in between the new NATO country of Ukraine, because at a moment's notice, they could just decide to join NATO, even though we've agreed that you don't. So instead, we're not going to give back the territory that's right directly beside us. We're going to take the entire Donbass area and everything around it. And we're winning the war, so why would we give it up? It makes no sense. Makes no sense. It's okay, we're going to make a peace agreement here. We're winning, and we'll probably just take over everything at a certain point if it keeps going the way that it's going. But we'll just give you back everything that we've won so far. And then we settle. Like, what's the point? That would be dumb. They would never do that.
The money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled.
Wow.
People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
Yeah, because he's going to be like, I'm going to nuke you both if you don't stop it.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries?
First of all, Belarus is already under Russian control. You're retarded. And Poland will continue fighting like they did through the Nazis. They never gave up.
Poland will literally just need Warsaw.
Yeah, no, like, of course you're going to take most of it in a weekend. But there's gonna be this pocket that never stops fighting.
And that literally just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
they don't care.
As we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians.
Oh, wow, Biden's got a lot of notes.
Humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Does
President
he? I didn't even see.
He just pulled out a giant fucking pad of paper.
But so far, Hamas.
Yeah, because it's probably like, here's what we're gonna vaguely ask you.
He just flipped over the notepad.
So, what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one. Everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward, which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is no the end of the war.
What?
The only one who wants the
How?
war to continue is Hamas.
Wait,
Number one.
what?
They're the only ones standing out.
Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell them to stop fighting, and we're gonna get the hostages back.
No.
And then we're gonna keep them from stopping the fighting.
He's like, okay, we're gonna trade. We're gonna give up hostages. Like, we're gonna give up hostages. So then there's gonna be a ceasefire. Then we're gonna say, okay, keep ceasefiring, and we'll probably throw a couple extra rules. And then here's the best part. Then the war ends. Then we just say, no more war. Let's just call it.
Like they said, they had American hostages.
Yeah. I think they're gonna trade hostages. No, like does
America have also hostages, or
no,
does
but
Israel have hostages?
I'm gonna assume Israel does. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, probably.
Israel
right.
probably has. I was assuming that's what they would do. Like how? So like maybe they go give back the Americans for we're not gonna keep fighting. Like Israel will say that we'll stop fighting, and then we go, okay, keep ceasefiring, and like here's some things. Maybe we'll give you some stuff. Like if we keep ceasefiring, like we'll give you some money or some sort of resources.
Yeah, I'll
or
give
something.
you a Costco membership.
Yeah, we give you one of those premium memberships. Yeah, exactly. And then what's the next step? He doesn't say how. He just says then war's over, because Israel is done, and Israel is going to keep fighting until it's over. Like they say it's dangerous to stop fighting at this point. So that's their argument. So it makes no sense. I love that it's like third plan, it's over. Third step, we war end.
Yeah, step 3, we win.
To accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped.
I don't even know what he's saying, man. I'm trying so hard. I'm focusing in on what the fuck this. Oh, that is a sick freeze frame on Trump.
Wow.
That was the best Trump. Dude, that is like Pepe Trump.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You can fucking make him green.
He looks like Sigma Christian Bale. Like, that's what, like he's. It's like a Sigma meme.
American Psycho.
Yeah. Like, Jesus.
Support
is he mewing right now?
And so there are two different things. Hamas cannot allow to continue. We continue to send our experts, our intelligence people, as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us.
Oh, he makes this point a lot.
Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General.
Why does he look so scared when he raises that eyebrow? I don't understand.
Stunned.
There we go. That's a better face to make.
Of the money was paid by us.
Stop looking scared. You have to.
Yeah, his default face is just frightened.
People to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent. And
Trump makes this point so much. It's like we're like fucking like 2020 all over again. It's just like, they're doing like more than the entirety of the European Union in NATO funds. It makes no sense. America should threaten to pull out of NATO unless everybody pays their fair share. It's not fair. Everybody goes, oh, look at all these fucking countries in Denmark or whatever that put so much money into their prison system or healthcare or whatever, but they don't have to pay any money compared to what America pays into NATO. So they get to feel safe at home, and then they get to try these little experimental things with all their tax money.
Our strength lies in our alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into...
Why does Europe always go to war?
Article 5 agreement.
Maybe because they're not united. They're separated nations. That's the problem.
Go in and control
I don't know. I think we need an empire. That's the reason. If Hitler won, there'd be no war in Europe.
No more warring. I was just going to say, no more European wars.
They'd all be Nazis.
He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation.
Those are really random
is a
countries to bring
serious
up.
threat to the whole world peace. No major.
Don't they kind of have their own issue with China fucking creeping up on all them?
Yeah, they're worried about Taiwan, I think.
Would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they give us on trade.
I don't know how he does it, man. He's not going to answer that question. We're never going to get back to that question.
He's just like, listen, I'm not talking about that.
I don't actually care about that. I'm going to talk about the things that I care about. He's like, hey, before we get to that, let's talk about this. Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm actually good buddies with Putin.
About the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time? And I said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. A former president.
He really just like.
I want to ask you about.
It's so crazy how he just hyper focuses on everything like a business, just because that's how he's hardwired.
Yeah, but it just makes so much sense.
Mandated counting of electoral votes.
Oh yeah, their fucking economy's like a dumpster fire. Not like ours is any better, but
that's how you should be running a company. It's like that, like, back in the day we had Stephen Harper in Canada, and it was just about accounting. Nobody gave a shit about the prime minister because he was a dork, and that's what I want. Actually, the perfect prime minister is Trump's business acumen, exactly how he would run a country without the arrogance. With you want him like a socially awkward,
without him,
weirdo. You want an introverted accountant. Is that? But
you don't want one on Twitter saying I have a bigger nuke button.
No, but the guy's never gonna get elected because he's autistic and can't look you in the eyes. So that's gonna be a problem on the campaign trail. So the best
exactly just I did balance the budget. I'm too nervous to tell you about it.
Yeah, it's just actually things are going great, but I'm just really shy, so I don't want to do a thing today. Just I don't know, whatever. So under Stephen Harper in Canada, the budget was getting the most balanced it ever was, but nobody remembers because he was a dweeb. That's he just fucking sucked and he was a dork. But the best that you're gonna get in America is a brash, bold guy who is the apprentice guy, but also has really good business mind. That's where he's coming from. He's gonna balance the budget.
The budget will balance itself.
He's gonna make sure he's not getting ripped off at the core.
That oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th, and worry that you'll do it again.
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through. Very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the
Listen, we're not going to talk about what those motherfuckers did on Capitol Hill. I wasn't fucking involved in that.
Who the fuck prepped him? God, that was the fucking best answer ever. Guess what? On January 6th, Bitcoin was through the roof. You remember Doge? It was great.
Remember how high our dollar was?
We was taking it to the moon.
Is horrible.
You should have said on January 6th, this was the price of gas. Thank you.
Oh.
Just fucking drop the mic and walk off stage.
You have 80 seconds left. My question.
He basically did do that. He basically did price of eggs January 6th free. What? I don't even remember that.
On January 6th, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again.
Well, I didn't say that to anybody.
Well, they re-asked the question.
And patriotically.
Yeah, he said you still have 80 seconds, so why don't you answer my question?
Ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say. But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this.
Did Biden just put his pen in his ear?
10,000 soldiers
yep.
National Guard. I was maker.
He's scratching his brain.
but she's saying, "Oh no, it's my
No,
responsibility.
just his finger.
I was
Oh, okay,
responsible
never
for
mind.
this because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down. The mayor of D.C.
Oh, he's sleeping
They
again.
turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could
Oh,
see.
shit.
I had virtually
plug 'em back
nothing
in.
to do. They asked me to go make a speech.
Wireless
I could
charging.
see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her, and she now admits that she turned it down.
I forgot
And
about
it
that.
was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no.
Well, yeah, these fucking dumb Facebook moms who went into fucking the Capitol and took a selfie shouldn't get life in prison. I think we could all agree in that. It's retarded to think that these guys were like terrorists.
Man, if I was just walking by, I probably would have just joined in because I've been like, yo, what is happening?
Yeah, but if
I have the mob mentality.
And if there was like a bunch of people, like there was people like the cops were like handing flyers to people and like guiding them around. Like if I was like there, everybody was just walking through. It wasn't a problem. Nobody's like, get out of here, like getting in fights. There's no riot. Like if there was a riot squad there pushing everybody back, I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna join in that. But if everybody was just filing through peacefully, hell yeah, I'm gonna go take Nancy Pelosi's desk or whatever we were there to do.
Thing. And these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people when they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is
gay.
Basically two
I
horrible
can't believe they
Republicans
even
that are
care.
all gone now,
still.
out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats. They destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is,
He's like, yep.
what he's telling you is
Ballin'.
true. The fact
Forgot to say that I'm also a fucking baller, Biden.
To stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill.
Dude, they cut away from Trump there because he was winning with facial expressions.
The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked,
Dude, I love politics, and just because I'm retarded shouldn't keep me out of it.
I said, will you
That's,
I like their politics way more than ours.
Exactly.
Theirs is so much more entertaining.
I don't care. I'm just I get to like whatever politics I like, and these are the ones that I like. These ones are fun. If ours
These
becomes
ones are fun.
I was following the Argentina election because they have their own Trump over there, and he's hilarious.
A minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have...
Bro, you got driver updates.
Apparently.
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation.
We're gonna make this country... Hey, why didn't he say great again?
But
No,
when he talks
we're
about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high
Massa.
level.
Oh no! Oh no!
Whoa! I'm gonna need you to redact that right the fuck now.
The statute of limitations lapse on the
Make
most-
Hold on, take it back. Take it back. You just slurred, okay?
Joe could be a convicted
Dude,
And not
get
in
me-
like a racist way.
Dude, I want
You're
a
just
red
slurring your
massa
words.
hat. Please make a red massa hat.
felon.
Make America successful again. We're a failing nation.
Prosecutor?
Massa.
Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything.
Oh my god, we're still talking about Hunter Biden Ukraine shit. This is the same election. We're
This
literally caught in a fucking
man is
simulation
criminal.
loop.
This man, you're lucky.
We're doing the same thing.
I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute.
Dude, they were jarred by what he did. Dude, look at...
I did nothing
Oh my
wrong.
god.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
Yes,
The
Grandpa, we're talking to
idea
you now.
That I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's
They
simply
cut away
a
from
lie,
Trump
number one.
again with the facial
Number two,
expressions. That's hilarious.
The idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
What is he talking about
I
right
didn't
now?
have sex with a porn
I
star.
think they've-
Number one. Number two, that was a
Talking about
case
the
that was
porn star
started-
lady. The porn star lady was the one that like said that he peed on or she peed on him or something like that. And I actually don't know how that ended, but and then that's what ended up getting him in trouble because they bribed her. They did bribe her with money,
Right, yes.
and that's what ended up being the convictions that he got because they say that he misused campaign funds and yada yada. But and then it wasn't declared properly, or it was mislabeled. It was very confusing. But then he also, there was this like, I remember the gross looking lady. She was just a monster of a lady, and he said that Trump did some sort of sexual assault thing to her, and then he also loves to grab ladies by the pussy. So there's that.
And moved
Yeah, that is where
a
that came from.
high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what.
Is there drool on the right side of Biden's
I'm
mouth?
pretty sure there's a little bit of drill.
You see that? You see that shine?
When the black people found out that I am a convicted felon, he gave me the black vote.
Than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe
Massa.
that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely
You
to
gotta
vote
stop
for
saying that.
President Trump will be
It's the new slogan.
democracy?
Make America
The more they
successful
know about what
again.
He's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done, and there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any presidents say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run...
Did he say that?
I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq. I said I wasn't going to run.
Did you just say Trump said Hitler had some good ideas?
Virginia, people coming out of the woods carrying
It's amazing.
On torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman.
I don't know if he ever said any fucking pro-Hitler shit. I'm not actually sure.
The ones who got killed, the one who tried to.
But I can't stop looking at his turkey neck.
Yeah, the turkey neck is crazy. He needs a turtleneck.
American president would ever say.
Like if we were just voting on necks, Biden's got my vote.
The same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas. We're fine people. And this is a guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense.
Please address that. Did you say that, Trump? I need to know.
Jake, both of you.
Hitler did nothing wrong. And then he just... that would be the best response.
Wiped out. Because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency is, without question, the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked.
Why can't we have a debate where they actually just bring facts and stuff like that? Like the people that are moderating it would go, yes, let's watch the full clip. He said, you know what? There are some people out in Charlottesville that are actually good people. Not the Nazis. They should be disavowed entirely. That's like pretty much the whole quote. It is retarded to bring this up. The whole quote is, Nazis bad, but some of the people out there, not so bad. That's the whole fucking quote.
Some of them I see, some of them I do not see.
That was good.
Debunk. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all.
It was like a fucking debate over like a statue. It was like a Confederate statue or something like that. And some people were like, no, it's history. And some people were like, no, it's racist. And then I'm sure there were some good people there that thought, no, it's just history. I don't care. Like, I get it. This guy was like on the wrong side of it, but still, it's like, we can't erase it.
There were some Nazis there.
But there definitely were some Nazis. and Trump was just definitely like he said it on like both sides of the quote. He's like, not the Nazis, those were bad, but I'm sure there's some good people out there, on both sides of the issue. Not the Nazis, but they just took the middle part.
We saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why.
Finish a sentence.
44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
Sick. Biden gets a re-up. Watch how pumped Biden comes out. Dude, Biden's going to come out jogging.
He's going to have fucking fully charged batteries.
Hell yeah, dude. And this is why I've been pausing and now I can skip ahead. Hell yeah. Nice. 25. Okay. Wait. Oh, wow. They get a long break. They gotta clean out Biden's diaper. Oh, Biden need a changey? Oh.
Live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms, and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while Black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and Black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small Black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're providing housing for Black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among.
For the first time in history, we got Blacks in houses. Can you believe it?
They're at the projects. They're in the houses.
Oh, what up, Dodds?
Impact on.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to the political discourse. Who are you voting for?
Have to make relative to childcare is incredibly difficult. When we did the first,
all right, good chat.
Thank you for your time. From Peru, bud. Oh, there we go.
Wait, you're voting for Dunkaroos?
From Peru, bud.
Oh, Trumperoo.
Oh wow.
I thought you were just voting for whoever give you Dunkaroos.
I'm also on that fucking train.
That would definitely be Biden because he's got little kids on his lap.
Biden's like, Dunkaroos for every young supple boy in the land.
As long as I can sniff them at least once.
I cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure because when you provide those child care,
I love Trump. Look at him.
Dude, Trump's literally been winning by facial expressions tonight. It's been amazing.
So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49
Pretty
seconds
sure
left.
50% of the crime, 13% of the population. Turtle said.
So far.
I say I don't.
Turtle. That's what Trump's gonna come back with. He's like 50% of the murders.
Next question.
Next question. This guy's only defense is the other guy fucked a lady. Boo. The other guy doesn't even understand him. Oh, is that you, Dots? Is that you, fucking dementia versus crime? Is that you?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I swear.
Oh, mixing up Kanye and Trump.
Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any Black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home, so they can get started. I made sure.
Blake, did you hear that? Are you switching teams?
I'm in.
You get a check for being Black to buy a house. That's crazy.
All those Black families and those Black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning. That if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills.
The wheels have been falling off. They took a break for him too. This is after the break.
This is like right after the break.
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole lot more for Black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't.
Well, they only have one income. That's the problem. It's one parent income in most of these households.
They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the Black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking Black
No, it's
jobs
Derek
now,
Chauvin.
And it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking Black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you.
You must have texted me the information and not in the Instagram.
When I became president, you know why? The economy was flat on its back. 50% unemployment.
Biden's dreaming of macaroni and can't focus.
That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands and millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, the ACA has increased. I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family.
I love his facial expressions.
Healthcare.
They're unfucking beatable, eh?
They tried 50 times.
Yeah.
He wants to get rid of the ACA again. and they're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the
Whoa.
idea that we're not doing any, we put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on.
Does he know what he's talking about?
Inflation, he caused
no one does.
Nope.
We don't. He doesn't.
Reasons in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat.
Was it?
Intensifying wildfires.
Last year was the hottest year.
Damn, that was gravy.
Former President Trump
wasn't even that hot last year, so we got plenty of time then, right?
It was so hot last summer. What do you mean?
Really? I didn't. Dude, I'm outside fucking all day working in hot trucks, and it wasn't that bad last year.
You work at night.
It's not. Fucking, are you kidding me? It's like fucking 4 p.m. It's super hot.
No, that's when it's the coldest, you fuck.
That's not true.
Almost every
The sun starts to set. It gets, yeah, you're not working at peak.
Dude, it was literally like 113 degrees the other day.
That's what it was all summer. That fucking the other day, man.
Well, if I didn't notice, so it wasn't that bad, so that means climate change is a fake.
We also had all the forest fires, so it was like you couldn't breathe.
I breathed all summer. I don't know about you.
I know.
Didn't you
It
breathe?
was hard to breathe.
Oh, I was breathing all summer. Didn't even
We had the
notice.
smog advisory for like fucking a week or 2 weeks. Come on, bud.
Didn't even notice.
I'm still pro-Trump.
One of the most successful economic development acts ever in the
Oh,
country.
he almost picked his nose.
Yeah, I
Did
know.
you
They
see that?
cut away. They cut away every time Biden does something weird.
And that's why
They always cut away from the
have
dual
best
shot whenever
numbers with
Biden's
them
being
in
wonky.
Maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers. He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for
I thought they were talking about
Hispanics.
climate change.
But wait till you see
Yeah, it is
these
weird how
millions of people
Trump's
pouring
able
into
to
our
weave
country,
through
and they're gonna
every
take
single
the
thing that
jobs.
they're talking
It's
about.
already
Somehow he's gonna bring up
and you
Ukraine here.
haven't seen
Watch.
anything yet. It's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left, President Trump. Will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever.
We
got H2O.
We had so much H2O. The best H2O that's ever existed. Under his administration, do you have any H2O? No. We're at like H1O from inflation.
Ricky Bobby, hot cloud H2O.
Holy fuck.
Using all forms
Wow.
of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And
You
my
forgot to
top
tweet out your
environmental
streams,
people
but I
gave
did
me
it
that
for you.
statistic just
Thanks,
before I
man.
walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea.
I don't know where the hell I am.
He said it's true.
I actually thought he was about to say that. Dude, the number one trending thing in Canada is the phrase "Biden is cooked." It's literally the number one trending thing when I open up X.
Biden
Go
is-
trending tab. Number one. Biden is cooked.
Yes.
Capital cooked.
Extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges, I came up with $15 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have.
We go back to
they
black
don't
people
have the
again?
kind of
Black people love
contributors that
H2O.
They have.
Actually, no. They hate
Actually,
it.
no,
They
that was
actually-
right.
Student is capable in college.
It's kind of like their fucking worst enemy.
Yeah, they actually hate H2O.
Those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water, he hadn't done a damn thing with the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord. I immediately joined it because if we reach 1.5 degrees Celsius at any one point, where there's no way back.
He is Pepe, eh?
Yeah, I know. He's got
It's
super
climate
Pepe
change.
face and
he didn't do a
fucking
damn thing about it. I just undo all that I've done.
Biden.
The Paris
He's losing
Accord
it.
was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India
Can't get
nothing.
over the mouth
It was a
open.
rip-off of the United States. And I ended it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it. And it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying.
Is that where I got my insulin?
Because
Thank you, Trump.
migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care
Biggest
of
heart, most water. That's what I've always said about Trump.
Over our schools, our hospitals, and
So much water.
Social Security. He is destroying Social
I
Security.
have the best
Medicare,
H2O.
Medicaid.
Trump's like 70% water. I've always said that about him.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything? We're not able to. The United
Flirtle's
States
got a good point. It looks like Trump has like more teeth. Like he's got like shark teeth, like layers of them.
By 2030,
Yeah, if we're going on amount of water or amount of teeth, Trump's winning both.
We've made significant
Oh,
progress.
for sure.
And we're continuing to make progress. We set up a climate corps for thousands of young people to learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause of pollution.
I just threw hashtag crypto in there and got a like from Global Crypto United with a gold check mark. What is a gold check mark?
It's an organization. They paid $10,000 a year for that, or
And
stay.
they liked my tweet that says, "Let's go hashtag Brandon," live from CNN. And then I put your Twitch link and a bunch of trending fucking hashtags.
Well, hell yeah, dude. Crypto bros. Shout out to all the crypto bros. Probably joining
Literally.
as we speak, you know.
Cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
Oh.
So every day, millions of Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many
No.
other Americans,
No, Ed, do you know how many clips are going to be made of that? And by the way, insert fucking soundbite here.
a pharmaceutical company cannot have
Oh
to
my
pay.
god, do it
By
again.
the way,
So every day, millions of Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many older
Oh,
Americans, Social Security
no.
provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just
sorry.
10 years. Will you name tonight
Different one.
specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Holy
very
shit,
well, they
man.
pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time of the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're gonna, I've been proposing that everybody.
Whoa.
they pay-
Kind of hurt my head.
Millionaires pay 1%. 1%. So no one after
Biden spitting
not
numbers
raise
is
the
so hard to
cost of
follow.
Social Security for anybody.
I know, and I'm not even like trying to fucking shit on him. I'm trying to pay
I know. I
attention.
want to know what he's
I don't
saying. And he's like, the 1 billion of no, the 100 million of the 1%. No, there's 2% of 2 billion. You're like, what are you saying?
Dude, I'm trying to follow what you're saying here.
At this point, I don't care if your numbers are wrong. Just commit to them. Whatever you say first, if it's
That's the
100
number.
Yeah, if it's supposed to be 1 million and you say 2 million, just go with 2. I don't actually give a shit. It's like, I'm not gonna check. I'm not gonna go check. Some nerd on fucking The Blaze or fucking The Daily Wire is gonna fucking fact check you, but the average person doesn't give a shit between your stupid statistics. It's so annoying to listen Biden fumble through them.
Their share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able
To
to
live.
Keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent, but the biggest thing I'll do if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And
That's you know what, Turtle? That is a really good point. That is a really good point. All taxing rich people does is make them find new ways to hide their money. So like you can already put them in shares and bonds and out of the country in different things, or you can have it like in things like crypto and stuff that's not taxed until you pull it out. So no one's going to actually like they're not going to pay. It's just gonna hurt the like middle of the high end people, like the poor rich people, the people who are making like 100,000 a year. That they're rich, but they're not like fucking billionaires, like living the rest of their life scot free. They're just gonna have to pay a ridiculous amount of income tax, and it's gonna fuck them over. The billionaires and
trillionaires, your middle class.
Yeah, the people like Trump and Biden and anywhere fucking around there that wealth level is just going to find a way to dump their fucking money somewhere else, make it untaxable in like Luxembourg or something, and then nobody gets any money. Just like fucking make it so that more jobs are created that get more taxes, and that's how you do it. You don't increase taxes. You should just always increase productivity.
The House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way,
the Democratic Party is doing a great part. Yeah, I was gonna say they've been doing great.
And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is we're in a situation where we talk about education for Black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 towards their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. About so many other things, too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace.
He's
but
killing
Social
it.
Security, he's destroying it. Because millions of
Biden
people
shut
are
off
pouring
again.
into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden.
The idea of veterans.
I don't know about that. I've seen some pretty fucking angry Americans in the past few years.
They did kind of have like a war where they all fought each other. I guess he didn't see it, but like, you know, I'm gonna say there was probably pretty vitriol back then. I was gonna say there was probably a little bit of hate back then.
He said he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be
like fucking Mr. Beast running for president or something. Like, this is ridiculous. Why? I'm waiting for Idiocracy
He just gets
to
up on stage and he's just like, well, I have more money than both of these guys, and I can put a sentence together.
Yeah, and then it's just like my opponent, Logan Paul and KSI, are offering free Prime for everyone in Flint, Michigan. But I say Feastables for all, and then Feastables fall from the ceiling. And then it's just like, you get a Tesla, and last person to vote that doesn't vote for me doesn't get a prize or something. It's gonna be like, first 1,000 people get $1 million that vote for me. I feel like that's gonna be a problem. I have 10,000 people inside this voting booth. Last one to leave gets $30 million.
Successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
Yeah, but I think by like objective measures and stuff, like, you know, like the economy and like the price of everything and like happiness scale, like there's like so many things that like I think Biden uses to Trump.
Many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Wait, did that? Okay.
What did he say?
Hold on. He said did he say $11,000 a year for childcare?
Was it a year?
That's what I heard. What I heard was $11,000 a year for childcare, and for some people, that's more than their rent. Who is paying $11,000 a year for rent? That's amazing. That means you're paying $800 a month? Are you fucking kidding me?
Did you actually just do that math? Are you fucking Rain Man?
Dude, it's not hard math. It's not exactly, but that's roughly what it is.
Yeah, you're close. It's $916.
Yeah. That wasn't hard math. I can
I'm retarded.
Well, no, it was because, dude, 1,100, there's only 12 months in the year. So you know it's almost 1,000.
Fair.
So I just guessed.
Child, for many families, the cost of childcare for 2 children is more than their child. For many families, childcare in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of childcare for 2 children is more than their rent.
Oh, he added 2 children. He snuck in the 2 children. So now that's $22,000 a year because you had 2 kids. It's still, wait, what? Now do that. What's 22 divided by 12?
That's in childcare, right? So that's like their daycare costs?
Yeah,
or after school or whatever.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
That's $1,833.33 infinity.
Still probably should be less than most people's rent. Like, it's still probably roughly, but I don't have 2 kids. If you can't afford that, don't have 2 kids. It's literally like it's the price. Fucking pull out. God damn it. I'm leaving it in.
In your second term, what would you do to make childcare more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very
one of your cats is upset.
The other thing is,
she's into the
he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price.
How dry do you think his mouth is?
I inherited these people. I didn't put them there.
He licked his lips like he heard me.
I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved in that the Afghanistan.
Now, in Biden's defense, Trump had a lot of practice in firing people on The Apprentice. That was like his whole fucking shtick.
Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit.
No, Joe Biden doesn't have a lazy eye. What he has is he has permanent smelling what the Rock is cooking face, because one of his eyebrows is fucking low, so he's always kind of trying to figure out what's cooking.
This election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He's the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world.
Okay,
We're the United
not anymore.
States of America.
Whoa, I don't fucking know about that.
We have the finest military in the history of the world. The finest in the history of the world.
That one's true.
No one thinks we're weak.
That one's pretty fucking good.
One wants to screw around with us. Nobody. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up. Go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians.
Where did Biden and his cooks go? It just disappeared.
Oh, suppressed by the media.
Best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history.
Stop lifting your eyebrows. It's frightening.
He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care. He did virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men.
Why do we want
single parents to be able to go back to work?
Yeah, why do we want people marrying the government to take care of their kids?
I don't know.
Why are we incentivizing that? We should kind of be de-incentivizing hey, don't have so many kids because we're not going to bail you out. You shouldn't. I get that they're here now and we need to, they need something, but it's it shouldn't just be okay, well, we're just going to give you X amount of money because you had a kid. That definitely shouldn't be the way that it works.
Yeah, but they also want more people for the machine, right? You need to have more fucking people who will work, more people who will pay taxes. So you have to incentivize at some point. Plus, you can't have your population decline too fast.
No, but we're gonna have it. We're gonna have people having kids, but I don't think we should incentivize it by like you just get money if you have a kid. That's ridiculous.
Your kids.
We have Poland,
Exactly.
we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you. And they rate me one of the best, okay?
Wow, I thought he said rape.
I thought he said they rape me.
I thought he said he fully said they raped me. He said they raped me.
We have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you. And they rate me one of the best, okay?
Whoa.
And if I'm given another 4 years,
He is the best.
I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump.
I like to
tax
picture
cuts
that both of these
expire.
people
So
are just the aliens from The Simpsons in skin suits. It does make it like better. Like, are you voting for?
Biden does look like an alien.
Like his face doesn't work properly. He has so much Botox and stuff. When he makes a
Yeah.
face, it all melts away to like horrified sadness
It
again.
looks like a mask.
Yeah.
Everybody, including the 2 of you, are going to pay 4 to 5
It's actually
times.
Obama.
Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see politicians talking about cutting taxes.
Oh no, he shut
Well,
down
we
again.
cut taxes, as I said.
Well,
We did more.
he
taxes
fucking
than
needs to
all these
reboot.
Companies, they were bringing money back into our country.
He's like, I need ice
The worst
cream.
president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
Whoa.
President
Whoa.
Biden.
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He will increase the taxes on middle class people. I said I
love
never
this
raised
guy.
a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But
Didn't
his tariff
Trump
is
say he's going to
10%
cut
tax.
taxes like
Everything
across the
coming into
board?
country, you know what the economists say?
I think
That's
so.
going to cost the average American $2,500 a year
Stop
more because they're gonna
raising
have to pay
your
the
eyebrows.
difference.
It's frightening.
No,
And
his
all
fucking
the-
eyeballs don't
Number
close.
2, he's in a situation
Whatever
where
amphetamines
he
here,
talks
they must be the
about how
purest,
he's-
cleanest. Like they have an amphetamine Heisenberg in the back, just making fucking straight pure meth. That just like that he's able to snort and be able to do this. It's kind of impressive. Like I gotta say, the amount of flubs that he's had are way less than I thought.
Yeah, for sure, he is doing better than I thought he would.
He's methed out of his mind, though.
Middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number 1. Number 2, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any
Yeah, but if you
progress
cut out the
with
pandemic,
China.
he
We're at
didn't.
the lowest trade deficit with China since
Yeah, I thought he had a pretty good run.
Thank you, President
He
Biden.
did until the end, and then it was horrible because he gave out a ton of money.
Impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths.
Trump's
in this
just like,
country
let him
has gone
die.
up.
Free opiates for everyone. That's what I say. I say everyone gets opiates.
Let 'em OD in the
Has
streets.
gone up. Former President
They're all
Trump,
Biden
despite the efforts
supporters.
Both of you have made. More than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China.
He's a
Yet, so I think he's
Manchurian
afraid to do
candidate.
Wow.
But, you
Dude,
know,
there's like
he
a
never took out
dude.
all
There is
the
a code word that Xi Jinping can say, and Biden just becomes fully aware, and we just become fully communist. Then
because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because
dude,
it's
you
too
can't
much
stop
money.
Fent Fridays.
It's tremendous, and we saved our steel
Fent
industries, and
Fridays.
there was more to come. But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that
At the
happen.
foot
You're
of the
destroying our
Himalayas
country.
was Xi Jinping.
So,
China is asshole.
President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are...
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot this was the opioid question.
Oh, my God. How did they get onto the topic about...
I know how his brain works. He goes, fentanyl. They were like opioids. He went opioids, fentanyl, China bad. Joe Biden's been taken in the butt from Xi Jinping. He literally just, that's how his brain works, because fentanyl comes from China.
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot
Beautiful
it.
dog.
We did a lot, and we were
We had a
getting
dog?
very low numbers, very, very low numbers.
My administration,
Then he
pro
came
dog.
along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen.
I was just like, I only know about child trafficking.
But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl, these big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal.
So you know the drugs are coming in then, but you're only scanning for fentanyl.
Well, yeah, but we want that good shit. So we only want fentanyl coming in. That's the key. We'll stop all that weak shit that ain't laced with fent. If it ain't laced with fent, then it's going back to Mexico.
Machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And
no, zoom back in on him. Thank you.
Did you know what would have stopped a lot of the fent? That wall.
It's going to hurt me politically. He never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill.
So Trump wanted a wall that probably would have cost a lot of money, and Biden wanted a super scanner machine that crossed like a drone that like scans all the fentanyl coming over the border. I don't understand. Biden wants some future technology that we don't currently have, but Trump wanted a wall, and they called him crazy.
He wants a machine to find the fentanyl,
yeah, he wants
not a machine to stop the drugs. Got it.
He wants the equivalent of those food delivery robots, but for fent. And
we need those machines, and we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl, and Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago.
Damn, that reporter's probably thinking like, oh man, I'm going to be out any day now. And then he hears this and he's like, I got to wait till fucking November? Are you fucking shitting me?
Asking for billions and billions of dollars.
I'm gonna be in Siberian work camp until November.
5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term.
Jesus.
How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States.
Once I get those drones that get the clean fent over the border, I'll be
years,
gacked out of my mind, bro.
I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought off a lot of
The
people.
question was, you old as fuck,
The
how are you
whole
going to
idea
deal with that?
of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We
What
invented
now?
those chips.
Who's winning the debate? Yes, let's go. Vote live. Somebody scan in. Vote me.
The cheapest jobs overseas and then bring
Elon Musk is streaming
I went to South
Like
Korea.
on
I
X?
convinced Samsung to invest
on
billions of
fucking
dollars
Twitch.
in the United States.
Shut the fuck up. He's streaming on dude. He has his
Those
own
fabs, they
shitty
call
fucking
them,
stream
to-
platform and
to-
he's streaming on
to build
Twitch.
these chips. Those fabs pay over $100,000.
He's playing Diablo, I think?
He's not even watching the debate.
About $40 billion already being invested in
What this
vehicles
place
right now
is,
in the
we
United
need a
States,
nuke.
creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have
Biden's
Yeah.
winning
Add
100%.
anything?
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
right.
Biden's
The
dude.
idea
Biden's
is
batting
how
1,000.
we are
Wow,
this
really?
country. I never heard President
Oh,
Trump
50-50. 2 people voted no.
We-
Wait, Trump's doing it. Holy shit, dude. Trump's pulling it. Holy shit.
United States of America. All our
Dude, how did it get to
all our
90%?
opportunities.
What?
We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done.
One person
We're the
voted
strongest country in
Biden
the
and
world.
everybody.
We're the country in the world who keeps our
Holy
word.
shit, that was a
Everybody
blowout.
trusts us. All of our allies.
Wow.
And our
They might want to get that off the
those who
screen.
he cuddles up to, Kim Jong-un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President
What?
Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term.
So younger
what do you
than
say to voters
him
who
now.
have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He
Dude,
doesn't do it. He can't
oh,
hit a
but he
ball
definitely
50
used a
yards. He
cart. But
challenged
I'm
me to a
still,
golf match. He can't
that's
hit
a
ball
lot.
50 yards.
That's still a lot.
He's a good golfer. I can't lie. Trump do have the fucking golf game.
He has the golfer body. He has the perfect golfer body, you know? Like Arnold Palmer or that
as good a shape
other
as
crazy
I was,
guy.
Years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said
Dude,
they'd
this
never
is a
seen
blowout
anybody
at the
ace
bottom of the screen.
you.
They should just take
I
that.
know, they need to
graphic
take it
down.
off.
That graphic is embarrassing.
223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's.
Oh, it's backfiring.
Just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving.
Holy shit, I'm
contest.
realizing that if Trump talks,
I
it's going to
got
throw
my
Biden off entirely. He should just talk. No one will be able to hear him, but Biden will look like an insane person.
And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest liability. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
That's worse, dude. He gave you a better number.
Swing, I know you swing.
Okay,
Let's
let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair and free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great
He
president.
added a caveat.
I wouldn't be
Did you
here
catch
right
that?
now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was
Ah! What? Huh?
It's unavailable.
What?
They didn't even keep the VOD. The stream ended and they didn't keep the VOD.
No way.
Wait.
Hold on.
No audio.
Why no audio?
and just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it.
I can't tell if this is.
Know where you are.
No idea. They keep saying the exact same thing over and over.
President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything.
Okay, no, it's.
I haven't heard him say terrorist.
No. He definitely talked about terrorists a while ago.
We're going to want $1 billion, or you change the prosecutor. And they said,
there we go.
Pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw all that.
We're somewhere a little past here.
And Nancy
I think we were at around an
turned it down,
hour
the mayor
20
of DC. They turned it down. I offered 10,000.
Keep going. You're way ahead.
Somebody just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally.
Wait, that's the break.
It was
Hold
so
on.
good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition.
Okay, hold on.
These tariffs,
We must be
10%
close to the end
tariffs,
anyway.
everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that are important. Number two, he's in a situation where he
I think it's
wants to
literally
be able
right
to
here.
go back to work, and we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Oh man, I lost it.
Well, we
Fuck.
cut taxes, as I said. We did more.
Can you make it not say minus 29? Can you make it say like what point you're at? Is that a thing?
As I said, 50 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs.
I think we were around like an hour 30.
Billions of dollars.
No, because this is a different feed. This is MSNBC or NBC. So and they had like coverage beforehand.
A lot of people.
You know what I mean?
The whole
So like
idea.
their thing started around 2 hours into the stream.
Because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a profit.
Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
There we go.
Don't act like children.
Don't act like children.
Hey!
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight the result that political violence?
I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made, I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent.
Oh, I'm now understanding what he's saying now. He's like, if I just won the last election, I wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be chilling. He's like, they'd all be fighting over who's gonna have some gay Republican fighting and some dumb Democrat fighting, and they'd be going back and forth. Wouldn't even be Biden. Biden wouldn't even be the Democrat candidate.
No.
If Trump won last year.
Because of him, his policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine.
You know what's so funny? During Trump's administration, the word World War III was brought up like every single week. But now we're in like 18 different wars around the world, and it feels like nobody's going like, Biden's causing World War III. Oh my God, get ready, World War III. It feels like it's always like, no, we're just doing little wars.
Yeah, there's just a couple little wars.
Yeah. Let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, and required response. The idea The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now,
it's mostly the infrastructure, the military, the money. People are retarded.
retarded.
The people are fucking so stupid. It's actually mostly just like the Constitution and like 5 founding fathers who weren't retarded and like just like went through a whole bunch of hellish shit and wrote down a bunch of documents that kind of covered all the bases.
Trump, as I come back to you,
that was it.
When bad shit happened, they're like, okay, no.
Yeah, no, they went through exactly what they're trying to do right now, and they wrote a bunch of documents saying like, no, absolutely never again.
Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well. But
Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. And under Obama, he invaded Crimea, and under Biden, he invaded the Donbass and the entirety of Ukraine.
With me, and he's going to take Ukraine. And you asked me a question before: would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia, because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, "I will never settle until such time." They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad.
Oh, Brian, thanks for following.
They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were president.
All right. This is running longer than I thought it was gonna. I'm gonna hop off and go to bed.
Okay. Night-night.
If it's a
fair
and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these. But the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do.
I don't need to now, Turtle. He's gone.
To do that, then I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
That was amazing. I loved that. They like to give him the last word too, so they can try to get like a little bombshell. What the hell is this? City's Pride March this weekend due to safety concerns and the war in Israel. So we're having less of a gay pride parade because of Israel? Seems like that's exactly what Palestine would want. Fresh COVID cases bubbling up in some parts of the countries. Health officials are setting course for a fall vaccination campaign? Are we literally just doing 2020 all over again? What the fuck is happening? What is going on? Okay, let's go.
Hosted by CNN, and at the conclusion,
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump.
It's being hosted by CNN, and at the conclusion, tonight's key moments.
Our team of political experts will break down how this night could shake up the presidential race.
For their closing.
Why would I give a shit about you guys?
Candidates to deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Ooh, Trump gets last word.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left.
What? Why does this keep happening? I don't understand. It's not like all of these ones are doing this. And it's not an internet
Trump
thing. It's just not loading.
We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where
this has got to be the scariest part for Biden handlers. Like, shit, he's got a monologue.
States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior.
He's for sure reading this.
All along, it's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States.
This is so not prepared. He just goes.
No money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like, even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and ready.
I have no idea what he just said. He just said so much shit.
And that's why I had the highest approval.
He probably should have wrote something down.
So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
He's just said so much gobbledygook there.
Trump, President Biden, stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate.
No one's going to stay with you. Nobody actually cares. That was the end.
Starts now on CNN.
Everybody's leaving, including me.
So we've been watching the wrap-up there of the debate. Former President Trump making his closing statement, wrapping up the first presidential debate hosted by
How
CNN.
does your forehead start?
Mr. Trump facing off against President Biden.
The two men debated for about an hour.
Jesus! Is he a predator? What the f...
minutes or so and clash repeatedly on the major topics of the day, including economy, abortion, immigration, childcare, Social Security, and of course, the key issue, the competence of both men, both one of the oldest presidents in history, if elected.
The candidates also traded several personal attacks. We heard about golf scores, among other
Are
things.
you guys not going to say, like, that was
senior
crazy?
Washington debate.
Well, Lester and Savannah, there's no way to sugarcoat this. This night got off to a tough start for President Biden. He delivered a performance that was at times halting. At times, he seemed to lose his train of thought. At times, he started to talk about one topic,
at least they're honest,
the economy, and then shifted to Afghanistan, which gave former President Trump an opening. And the topic of abortion, his strongest topic coming into tonight, he raised the issue of immigration, which gave former President Trump an opening. As the night progressed, he did begin to pick up steam. He had some really strong moments on the issues of what his administration, for example, has done for veterans. But zooming out, this was a debate about performance. This was a debate about allaying Americans' concerns about his ability to serve another 4 years. And I and a number of reporters at NBC News have heard from a range of Democrats who have said that they are concerned by tonight's debate. This race, quote,
that's yes, you should be. It's over. All right, GG. Good luck. Good luck, President Trump. Turn this thing around. That was there's no way that helped in any way, shape, or form for anybody who is voting for Biden there. So both of them are gay, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was still solid. Thanks Schlurtle. Thanks whoever's still kicking around here. Brian. There's who's this? A couple other people kicking around, and yeah, more of this, more debates coming soon. I think there's supposed to be 2 more. See you then.